All right, guys, in today's video, let's tackle a viewer question, which is about sleep and insomnia. What this person asked is, can supplementing with GABA help with sleep, help with insomnia? So what is GABA? What's it doing in your body? What's the dose, side effects, all that stuff I'm going to cover in this video. So let's hop right into it. First of all, GABA is gamma aminobutyric acid. Basically, it's a fancy name for saying that it is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. Now, what does that mean? Well, you have excitatory neurotransmitters that kind of get your brain going. Then you have inhibitory neurotransmitters that can kind of wind the brain down. In GABA, it's pretty clear from the research, the studies, that it definitely kind of calms your brain down, for lack of a better term. So it's heavily involved in sleep. Now, what we want to focus on is what specifically is it doing in your body? Well, we already have medications that treat insomnia that target GABA receptors. Okay. So we know that GABA receptors are heavily involved again in sleep, and it appears to be heavily involved in the hypothalamus, that part of your brain. So far, so good. GABA is definitely involved in sleep. The biggest question is effectiveness. Can supplementing with GABA actually help? We don't have a lot of huge studies. I'm going to cover one that I thought was helpful, and then we'll kind of go from there. But what they found is they gave people one of two doses. The first dose was 75 milligrams of GABA, and the second dose was 300 milligrams of GABA. Now, they did both of these 1 hour prior to bedtime. They did it for 4 weeks. And what they found was kind of important, because it brings to light a good use for GABA, and it brings to light also where GABA probably is not going to help you. So what they found is that it decreased sleep latency. That's the study's term for sleep latency, is basically saying how long it takes you to fall asleep. So it shortened that time. People were getting to sleep faster. However, on the downside, what they did not find is that if you're somebody who wakes up in the middle of the night and you have trouble getting back to sleep, GABA showed no help with that. It didn't help with other sleep parameters. It did help people get to sleep faster. That was it. Okay. Interestingly, there were other studies, that took these doses of GABA and tried to replicate it. They weren't able to. So we don't have a ton of evidence for it, but I'll get into more of why GABA may be something you want to consider in this section here. So first of all, if you decide to take GABA, and at the end, I'm going to kind of give you my takeaway, if I think it's worth it, if I would personally do it. Are there any drug interactions? You always have to be concerned. If you take a supplement, does it interact with medications you might be on? Does it interact with supplements you might be taking? With GABA, if you are on blood pressure lowering medications, be careful, because GABA can kind of compound that. It can also lower your blood pressure. Obviously, we were talking about sleep. It can make you sleepy. So if you're taking other things that can cause drowsiness, you want to be really careful. Now, as far as side effects, in the studies, the research we had to this point, GABA's very well tolerated. Okay, not a lot of side effects. If they pop up, what we tend to see, again, drowsiness, we talked about that. Some people can experience some stomach upset, some people muscle weakness, and a weird one is throat burning. But again, these are rare ones that were mentioned. Overall, it is pretty well tolerated. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I found this interesting. The question that was posed to me about GABA came from a woman. A lot of women struggle with sleep, and it can depend on, for example, if they're still menstruating, time of their cycle, or if they're going through menopause or perimenopause. And there is a clear link with estrogen can actually block the effects of GABA. Okay. Versus something like progesterone is actually supportive of GABA. It's more of a calming, inhibitory hormone. So that may be part of the puzzle as to why your GABA levels may be low, as well as it could be a hormonal issue. So there's a lot of factors at play other than just throwing a supplement at it. But I think that begs the question, kind of what I think the most important part is, would I ever take GABA? If I was someone who struggled to get to sleep, I would do it short term. I wouldn't be I think it's safe. I think it's shown effectiveness in that particular scenario. But outside of that, I wouldn't do it long term. I don't think there's evidence for it. And I'm really not a huge supplement guy to start with, so I believe most of them should be short term. And if you're somebody who's getting up in the middle of the night and needs to get back to sleep, GABA's not going to help you. So yes, I would take it. I would take it in certain situations, and I would take it short term. I would replicate the doses they had in the study. That's 75 to 300. I'd start out at 75 and move up from there, just depending on how you're tolerating it. So there's a lot of factors that go into sleep. I cover some of those in my free checklist. These are natural options I've used personally, I've seen clients use, and they can get some really impressive results. That's free. Just go to that page. There's a link in the description. Sign up, and I'll send that to you for free. Also, I'll include a link up here in the video to some other sleep videos that I've done that I think you'll find helpful as well. So, speaking of helpful, guys, I hope this was, and I will see you in the next one.